I am thriving. I have been thriving over the past 3 months. In fact, COVID has been a blessing in disguise for me. It's allowed me to ignite my spark, especially in my work in communications and culture. It's allowed me to show up as my authentic best self, playing to my strength and my passions, which is the premise of iSpark, the first part of my iSpark Our Fire framework. This was going to be the story that I was going to talk about today, but that was before Friday. It's Friday evening. I'm sitting at my kitchen table on a Zoom call with friends, and I hear a strange sound coming in from outside. It took me a moment to realize what that sound was. I could hear the protesters coming down our street, who were marching and standing in solidarity with people of color fighting for justice. So we go outside on the balcony to see what's going on. We see protesters throwing out trash into the street to create a roadblock for the police cars to come through. One police car is trying to veer off going down Grand Street, but protesters used their bodies as a barricade so they couldn't pass. The confrontation and the energy is really palpable in the air, and I could feel how I was tensing up. I was also really hoping that this situation would not escalate and everyone would stay safe. And at the same time, I could feel the guilt that came up inside me, and I felt I should really be down there marching with them. So I knew I did not want to talk about me thriving, self-actualizing, which is at the top of the Maslow pyramid and the embodiment of white privilege, when our Black friends and neighbors are literally fearing for their lives just by walking in the street. It felt a little silly, and I was also questioning whether maybe iSpark is silly or even stupid. But then I realized it's not. In fact, it is highly relevant because it allows me to ignite a new spark and take me through the process. Identity. How do I want to show up in this fight for justice? S, strength. What are my platforms and channels that I can use to amplify the voice of people of color and where I can spark conversations with white people? A-I-S-P. P, passion. How am I going to educate myself to nourish my passion for learning and for education? A, action. What actions am I committing to beyond texting Floyd and beyond posting and educating myself? R, roar. This is uncomfortable and I have to roar. And how am I going to call in that courage to get outside of my comfort zone and keep roaring? K, kindness. I have to remind myself that there is no point to beat myself up for what I have or haven't done in the past. There is only here and there is only now, and I can only focus what I'm going to do moving forward. Between the pandemic and the fight for social and racial justice right now, we need to reinvent ourselves. We need to show up as our authentic best self, playing to our strength and passions. So I'm going to ask you, what spark are you igniting right now? So together we can build a fire that brings the necessary change that we so desperately need. And so together we can elevate up to a new reality. So let's embrace that. Put your hands at your heart and repeat after me. I spark our fire. Now let's do that again and really put some emotion into it and make it a whole body movement. Convince yourself and say it again. I spark our fire. Now put your hands up in the air and really embody this. I spark our fire. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Elevated sparkulation. Are you still on Spotlight? Yes. Okay, great. I think everyone off mute, we're all going to say I spark our fire together. So everyone unmute. On the count of 3, we're all going to say I spark our fire. 1, 2, 3. I spark our fire.